The thing about regenerative detoxification is that it can be quite time consuming. You know that preparing healthy food, even going out and grabbing a bunch of healthy stuff, hauling in the fruit as we call it, it can be a lot. Going to the grocery store. I wanted to show you a little bit about what my life looks like as I transition over to a more raw living food lifestyle of self-love and abundance. And just to let you know that I completely understand that we can't be perfect and that your life will get busy and there'll be days where you might have to get that spelt crust pizza or make that optimal choice in terms of buying convenient foods. And this is a journey about self-love and compassion for the self. So I remember the beginning of my journey, and I want you to know that I completely respect where you're at. And I also know that the more built up the body is, the more gentle the purification ought to be. Those of us who are pioneering alkaline detox for regeneration and vitality are familiar with Arnold Ehret. He pioneered this 100 years ago. He wrote the books Rational Fasting and the Mucusless Diet Healing System. It was one of the first to talk about certain foods creating mucus in the body and clogging up the great lymphatic system, which we know to be the true immune system and the key to cleaning out wastes from your body. So sometimes we need to have a little bit of grace on our journey for ourselves and understand these teachings of transitioning over to more living foods, to more raw foods. A beginner might prefer to start with 30% raw, and that would be great because of the difference in how the foods are being digested. Also, there are certain raw foods that we wouldn't eat whole, we would juice, such as kale. It can be particularly hard on the digestive tract. So this is why we recommend having a regenerative detoxification specialist as your coach. Somebody like myself. There's a lot of us in the community. You can look up Dr. Robert Morse and hashtag Robert Morse and find out who might be working with his program, because that's who I was trained with. That is my mentor, my teacher. And this is what I like to share, is how to transition over to a high fruitarian lifestyle of abundance with a lot of salads, juices, smoothies. And you know, this transition diet that I'll be showing you over the next week, Arnold Ehret had suggested that coffee would be okay while transitioning. He wanted it to be simple for the person and enjoyable. And you can get his books and learn a little bit more about his transition diet. He talks about bread and how toasting it would make it less mucus forming. I remember in the beginning of my journey, I would allow bread once a week and I would toast it. And you know, we're really getting into the habit of calling out any shame or guilt or any negative emotions concerning our food choices. If we're going for that spelt crust pizza that you'll see me having in this video here, this vegetable topped with a little bit of cheese pizza, if we're going to go for it, enjoy every single bite. Be kind to yourself. Know that it's a journey. Aim for a lifestyle. This has to be sustainable for you. There's some days that life is just too busy to have the most ideal foods. And if you're interested, one day I could talk to you a little bit more about the ideal foods for our species. Each species has a particular diet, and we've learned that our bodies are very similar to we are frugivore species, and we're very similar to the gorillas who ate a lot of fruit and some green leafy veggies. And we could talk more about that too. So if you go too hard, too fast, you'll most likely give up, right? There's the detox symptoms, the moods when we're detoxing. There's times where you'll just need to rest. There's a fine line when you're removing toxins. The body actually can remove a lot of toxins as we free up its energy and give more vital life force through the diet. It can do what it's designed to do and clean itself out. These are cold and flu-like symptoms, some detox reactions, and some days you'll just need to rest. And then there's this fine line between, oh, do I need to move my body? Because we know that the lymph system only moves when you use your muscles, when you're active. So some days, you'll just want to rest. But other days you'll think, oh, maybe I should just rest. I feel really tired. But you'll do a small walk or something like this. It'll feel in alignment for you. Only you will know. And then that could give you some more energy. But sometimes it's not ideal to do that movement, even though we do try to aim to move on a daily basis when we're detoxing to really keep the lymphatic system moving. I'm also really into wet and dry brushing, and I can share more with you. You could also find my blog, thehealingjunction.ca, and read the blog I did on body brushing. That also moves the lymphatic system. So when you're eating a meal that isn't ideal for detox, it's advisable to eat it in one sitting. So within the hour, and you'll see in this video, I start with oranges. Wait 15 minutes, digest those oranges, and then have the other foods that you're going to be consuming. In my case, it's the spelt crust pizza. So that's an ancient grain. Digests a lot better than wheat. And if you're going to go for grains, by the way, keep it to the alkaline forming grains as much as you can, the buckwheat, the millet, the amaranth. The spelt and white potato and white rice digest pretty well, and they are acid forming. And remember, on this program, as we transition over to this program, this is kind of like level 1 or a little bit less than level 1. It's a transition. On the level 1, the moderate detox experience, dietary program recommendations, we do not have animal flesh and we do not have grains. We keep the nuts and seeds minimal. And for cooked food, we do cooked vegetables, no cooked refined oils, no salt. We use a lot of seaweeds for saltiness. And we have some squash and sweet potatoes and yams cooked. So we can get more into the level 1 detox as we move forward. But for now, just make sure you eat that meal within one sitting. It's a lot less energy on the body. And then, for dinner, I would just have like a salad. But for the transition, I might add like a white potato with the salad. I like to do mashed potato with that, with coconut milk, coconut oil, seaweed, garlic. Or I could, go for the healthier option, which would be the sweet potato, the yam, or the squash. And to have that with a salad is really, really light in the evening. If you can attempt to stop eating 2 to 3 hours before bed, that's great. And a mono fruit meal right before bed is actually perfectly desirable, like if you need it. This isn't about starving yourself. This is about satisfying your cells with living, hydrating, electrical energy and foods. And so I've eaten mangoes before bed and woken up feeling amazing. So you remember, your body's the best science experiment. So try these things out for yourself. And let me know if you have any questions. You can DM anytime or send an email through my website, thehealingjunction.ca, under the Contact Us form. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your questions. Love to hear your comments. If this is something you're interested in and you're planning to join me, drop that in the comments below. Please, while you're posting your photos of fruits and salads and anything in alignment with detoxification, long walks in nature, meditation, yoga, anything you're up to that's alkalizing, and you like to use my hashtag #TheRawReset or just Raw Reset, that would really support my work, and to get this message out to more and more people would be really appreciated. So you can attempt dry fasting, especially when you're not eating like the perfect, raw food diet. Just go dry. Make sure you're stopping your eating and drinking window about 3 hours before bed. And then while you're sleeping, you're dry. We don't recommend more than 12 hours dry. And remember, if you're joining me for this, you are ideally breaking your fast in the morning with lemon water, then your herbal tea and tinctures, and then a big bowl of juicy fruit. And when I talk about eating fruit, I talk about monofruit meals, which are one fruit in that meal. So just all oranges or all grapes. These are heavy pullers on the lymph, the citrus and the dark grapes in particular. Any dark fruit like cherries, dark red color, pomegranate. These are really pulling on the lymph, and I could talk to you more about that soon. And they are really easily digested when you just choose one. But you can also mix fruits. Just use the proper food combining chart that I shared in the Detox 2024 highlight on my Instagram to make sure you're mixing the correct fruits. For example, melons, remember the rule. Eat them alone or leave them alone. You don't want to mix melon with another fruit because melon moves through you very fast, whereas other fruits might digest a little slower, and then it can cause some fermentation. Then you might as well be eating your grains. But as you transition, you might be on the grains, and remember that's okay. Just adding in more living foods, more fruits, berries and melons, taking your herbal teas, taking your herbal tinctures. Lately, I've really been getting into chaga mushroom tea. It's an antiviral medicinal mushroom. You'll see me filtering out the chunks. I have these crumbled pieces, and you can use them multiple times, keeping them fresh in the freezer. It's very, very good for the immunity. And then when you're ready to go a little deeper, you really want to dig deeper, maybe get rid of that eczema or that extra padding you're carrying. No shame in that. Please remember, love your body no matter what. Some of us have an issue with having a little bit too much padding. Some of us get really thin. Love yourself, love your body, appreciate what it does for you. I'm working a lot with this myself. Embracing my fuller figure and just doing this for the right reasons this time around. A lot of us holistic people come from eating disorders and perfectionism and control issues. So just really working with the mental and emotional body as we go. And I find that self-touch and self-massage are really supportive. Qigong, yin yoga, restorative yoga. Just giving myself hugs sometimes, wrapping my arms around myself, holding my cheeks, and realizing the sweetness of this beautiful body and how strong it is and how I can go to work and visit with friends and go around and do all the things that I love. So just appreciating it as much as possible. And, then we can attempt a 3 or 4 day juice feast when we're doing this kind of transition diet. We could just immediately jump into hydrating the body in that way. You do want to drink enough juice. You want to do at least 3 liters a day, sipping and chewing the juice. So drinking it slowly. And please consult a detox specialist to break your juice feast properly. Or any fasting that you're doing, you might need a coach for that. It would be very supportive, I would say. If you attempt a 10-day fruit feast. That would be really nice. Just eating fruits for 10 days. Watch what comes out.